Welcome to From the Pitch to Purpose. Pew, 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 pew. That was my own sound effect if you couldn't tell. I am Sammy B. My government name is Samantha Brand. I also go by Sam, Sammy, Samo, Schmo, Bubba, Samwise Gamgee. I've been called a professional soccer player. I've most recently started writing, so I've been an author, published author. Whoop, whoop. I have been called a speaker. I have been called a poet. I have been called gorgeous, mostly by my mom. But my favorite name
is Mommy.
But my least favorite name is Widow. That is one of the transitions you're going to hear about in this podcast. This podcast is called From the Pitch to Purpose, and it's just going to be about every life transition that my family and friends go through. These are going to be people just like you and me. Not celebrities, well, there might be some because we're hoping Oprah just responds to my Instagram live. But honestly, I cannot wait to share my favorite people with you. So, welcome to From the Pitch to Purpose.
Our next guest is Emily Butler. She's one of the most amazing women that I've had the pleasure of calling a friend. And we talk all about being a mom. We talk about transitioning from being an athlete and a dancer into all the things that come after a career. And I cannot wait for you guys to meet her. Give it up for Emily Butler. Show me your face.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. There she is! Oh my God, you're so beautiful! I can't even handle it. I can't handle it! Ah!
First time
Yeah. We've done a lot of the text, done a lot of the sewing, but not the talking.
Yay! Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Thank you so much for thinking about me.
Are you kidding me? You're on my first 5. I need you to know that. Yes.
Stop.
Okay, introduce yourself. Tell me who you are. I know who you are, but
okay. I'm Emily Butler.
Cutest ever.
I don't know. I'm a mom. I have another one on the way. Did I tell you that?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a boy. We just found out.
Oh my God, you get one of each. Oh, the amount of matching sets. And then
I'm done.
And then no more.
So I'm so done. I'm so over it. But really excited. I own my own business. That's the room that I'm in right now because it's farthest away from my daughter who's napping. And yeah, used to be a dancer. We met through our mutual Lynzy, who was also a dancer.
Is that how you two met?
Yeah, we started dancing together in Austin. So she moved to Austin a couple years after I moved to Austin. She actually took class with the artistic director of the company for which we both ended up dancing. And she, the artistic director came back in rehearsal and told all of us, like, guys, had this chick in class. She's gorgeous. She's fantastic. I called her out. I had her do the combo by herself. And all of us are just like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, cool. She sounds awesome, but like, fuck, like now we have to, now there's like this awesome chick who's going to come and join us, hopefully. But yeah, so she showed us pictures of Lynzy's Instagram. And at that time, like Lynzy had these gorgeous pictures of model stuff. And like, she's just like the most photogenic person I know. And all of us looked at this and we're like, oh my God, not only is she stunning, but she's also like crazy talented. Cool. So we all met her. And I think like when I met Lynzy too, I pretty much decided like I had to be friends with her. I wanted her to be my friend and pretty much made her my friend and made her stick with me through and through. And then we had babies at the same time. And now like, she's my bestie.
Yes, your guys' relationship is really adorable, and I always like it makes me want to move there.
Oh my gosh.
Every time I see any pictures of you guys together, anytime I see like you guys, even when you guys comment on each other's shit, I'm like, oh, I just want to go and be their bestie.
I love her so much. I genuinely feel like there's something mystical in the universe that brought us together to where we ended up like we do the same stuff. We're so similar. It's wild. It's really fun, but she's amazing, and we honestly don't get to see each other that much, which really sucks. Like maybe 3 times a year. I know, she's all the way down in San Marcos and I'm all the way in North Austin, so it's like
That's me and my soul bestie. Like my soul bestie lives in North Carolina now. She was in Portland, so we were like on the same coast for a long time, and that was like, oh, we're gonna see each other more.
I know.
Especially with momming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
have to bring an entire little human with you.
Right. And both of us have tiny humans that are the exact same age. So it's hard. But I mean, at the same time, I text her. If we go like a whole day without texting each other at night, like one of us will text the other one and be like, I miss you, I love you. Like, I can't believe we haven't said anything to each other for
Yeah.
a whole like 18 hours. It is
Aww.
weird. But
I love
I
that.
know there's like it's something so special and something so rare about having those adult relationships where I don't know,
Your heart. Your
I
heart.
have the yes.
Your heart.
And as an adult, you cultivate these relationships that are so necessary to who you are. And you're old enough to know who you've outgrown and who you don't need in your life.
That part.
And like who is really important to you and you keep really close. So your circle like shrinks, but it becomes like so beautiful and so important. I have the best friends. I just do. They're amazing.
Yeah, and I think that's important, especially as moms. And I noticed that like it doesn't necessarily matter geographically where my friends are, which in my 20s mattered so much. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, yeah.
now it's like I can consider this person who lives in North Carolina my best friend, and she's how far away? Why? Because our souls are so connected. They're
Yeah.
so connected, and like what we talk about, how we talk about it, how we let each other talk about it, the fact that I can tell her things that I'm like, I would never say this out loud, but I'm going to tell you.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. And I think like that's my favorite kind of person where they know like this isn't normally going to come out of my mouth. And I don't mean it, but I so mean it. And I have to like say
Yeah.
it.
Especially in motherhood. The worst hood I've ever been. No, I'm kidding. The hoodiest hood I've ever hooded is motherhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, that leads me into just our first thing, which is like, tell me like your biggest transition in life.
Well, so I was thinking about this and I was like, is motherhood my biggest transition? And it really isn't. I don't think motherhood is. And I was talking to my husband about this too. And I was like, I feel like a bad person when I say this, but at the same time, it's like going into motherhood was just such a natural transition for me. Like, yeah, it was expected. Nothing came as a shock to me. I felt like I was totally prepared. And it was great. Of course it's a difficult transition, but I think the most difficult transition I've ever had in my life was leaving what I had done since I was 4 years old and starting a whole new life. I left everything. I started dancing at 4 and then danced all the way through high school, went to college for dance, got my BFA, my degree in modern dance and performance, moved to New York, danced, and then I started like, when you leave the little circle you grew up in, and I grew up in a very conservative white town. And when you leave and you expand your horizons and you realize what else is out there, you start to like really go through a whole bunch of other shit, And I started coming to terms with the relationship that I had with my body, which wasn't great. And how I was really sick and I needed to change something. So I threw all of my money into yoga teacher training. And I did yoga. And that was really special and important and kind of the impetus for all these different changes. So after that, I moved back to Texas because my grandfather was dying and I was really close to him and I just wanted to be with him. And when I moved back, I kept teaching yoga and I still danced. I still taught on the side. But it wasn't my entire world anymore. My focus was still very much on me and being good to me. So yeah, I got a lot of different kinds of jobs in like the holistic health industry and but most of it was just clerical stuff, reception stuff, things that I could do alongside teaching. And I swear there were so many times in my life where I had like 5 different jobs. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know where I wanted to be. And I think that's also kind of what your 20s are for, just like going and going and going. Your only responsibility is you, and you just live. Yeah.
If I can go back and have just one of those problems that I thought was the craziest thing in my life, where I was like, I can't believe it. I would pay probably my left smallest 3 toes to go back and just like have that little baby problem again.
I know. It's so, but that just putting it into perspective, like that. And you can't do that until you're older, and that's okay. And I think like that's something that a lot of the older generations get off on saying is like, oh, it's always just wait, which you hear a lot when you're a mother too. They're like, oh, just you wait. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, but it sounds so condescending when it's like, I'm learning, I'm growing, like, give me time.
Yeah.
So, anyway, whenever I moved here, met the original owner of the business that I now own. And, I bought a business and I started doing something completely different. I stopped teaching. I stopped traveling and judging. I retired from performing completely. And now I look back and I think, God, how was I performing with such debilitating anxiety? How was I just like, yeah, okay, I'll go ahead and go on stage in front of hundreds of people and move my body.
And they're just like watching.
Yeah.
They're just gonna watch me and they're gonna talk about me later.
Right. Talk about how good or how bad I was. And instead of me just being able to enjoy myself, instead of me just sharing what I love, but that's a lot of the criticism for dance and performance in general that I really struggled with. And that's why I left. I really just needed to pay attention to me. So the business that I bought was really a lot of healing for me and a lot of, can I do anything else? I don't know if I can do anything else. I've never have done anything else. And everybody always makes transitions in life seem so hard. I don't know. And yeah, things are hard, but it's it's not going to kill me. It's not, this is fine. I can do it. And I did it. And it's definitely been a different version of Emily that I have had to embrace. So that's definitely the biggest transition I have had.
Well, I think a lot of the times I've been doing a lot of mastermind classes and things and trying to discover my strengths and trying to leap into a lot of my own transitions. And what's crazy is the one thing that stuck with me is it's not necessarily the transition, it's the resistance to it that really causes that stress. So it's like me stepping into this new, for instance, with sewing. It wasn't doing it that was the hard part. It was stopping soccer. I was resisting that identity shift. And I was resisting, stopping something like you said. Literally most of your story I could have told you and just replaced it with soccer.
Yeah.
And replace the new business with sewing. And and especially those things where you're like, how did I do that? I used to just there was a time in which right before my senior year graduation in college where a coach was like, come try out for the Haiti national team. Right. And I literally had to go into my professor's offices and say, hey, I have this opportunity to go play for the Haiti national team, but I'm going to miss your finals. Can I come back and take them before I graduate? I had the courage to do that. Sometimes I like get nervous to order food now. So it's weird. And yeah. And then within 10 days of that conversation, I was in the Dominican Republic playing soccer for a national team of my grandmother's country. So, but
Oh my gosh.
but like we don't do when we're in it, like you said, when you're in it, you're just like, yeah, I'm going on that stage. Yeah, I'm gonna go to this country. Like it's so bizarre to me how when you look back, you're like, I just put my head down and I worked. Like I
Yeah.
just did what was asked of me. And that's an athlete's mentality, a dancer, athlete, anything. Like we just like,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am, I'll do that. You know?
Yeah.
And but yeah, you're right. It's not really the transition in doing it. I think it's that resistance we have before, the fear, the losing, the gaining, whatever you're doing, it's definitely resistance. And I think that's what people don't understand and what people don't really recognize was the hard part.
Yeah. Yeah. How long did you play soccer before you transitioned out of it?
I played since I was 3. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Your story was like same, same,
Yeah.
same, and especially the not knowing who you are without this giant chunk of your identity. So I don't even remember life before soccer. I don't remember not playing. I've always had it. Thankfully, my parents were really good at giving me other vices. So I had music and I had, speech team and those other things. So there you go. And so I had those other things, but like soccer was the chunk.
Right.
And it was
Right.
also somewhere that I felt great. I was great at it. So it was like a big confidence booster. Like I'd step on the field and kill it. So you'd have this like probably just like infused confidence that like I didn't even know was there because other parts of my life, I also grew up in a white community. A little different for me than you, but like
Yeah.
a little different. But but the diversity wasn't there. But on the field, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just didn't matter. There were a few times on the field that it mattered in the sense that people tried to be kind of condescending and be like, oh, you're fast because you're black. Those kinds of things. And just like a few, but in like my 30-something year career, like I got to just be a soccer player first,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
transitioning out of that and just being like, now I am a seamstress. And like you said I had like 5 jobs. So right now I'm a nanny, I'm a seamstress, I'm a dance fitness instructor. So it's like weird because I'm still part of like I'm in a little bit of that other part of your story. And like I just got hired to be a personal trainer, so I'm gonna like drop a couple of those. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm gonna drop a couple of those like side hustles so that I can have one hustle and get one consistent paycheck.
I know. I know. It's always so scary to do that too, because it's like you keep getting all these little paychecks here and there, and then you're like, okay, well, now I have to like be really good at one thing to cover these paychecks I'm getting. But like my mom used to always say to me, and this resonates with me a lot when you're like, and I was good at it. Like, and when I was a kid, I was considered good. And so at dancing and and like you don't want to leave that. Why would I do something new that I don't know I'm good at yet? And my mom always said to me that I never played unless I won. And she meant that in like just life in general. And I see that in me so much now where it's like, if I know I'm not going to be good at something, I'm not going to play. I'm just, and I see it in my daughter too, where I'm just like, oh no, don't be like me. Like, let's try different things. It's okay to fail. But it was that perfectionism. It was that, but if you're good at this, you need to be good at everything else. And then if you get praise for being good at that one thing, then you're like, I have to get praise all the time for being good at whatever I do. And it's just like, and if I do fail at that one thing that I have chosen to transition in, it's going to be the worst thing that ever happened.
Catastrophic.
Yeah.
It's catastrophic, and it's also defined me. So like right now, like sewing is amazing and I can make so much, but when I do like a drop or something, a sale, and it doesn't go well, I recognize that I'm still an athlete because it's like my coach benched me. And I go straight into this like, what did I do wrong? Da, da, da. And this, as athletes, I think and performers, we have to self-assess a lot.
Yeah.
And that doesn't stop. That's a 30-something year habit.
Yeah.
So when something goes wrong, I immediately go, do, 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 do. This is all the things you did wrong, things you could have improved on, because after a game, that's what you'd have to do so that you don't either lose again or you don't, so you win the next game. And
Right.
ooh, when you just said if you don't start something unless you're gonna win it, ooh, I call
It's
it.
so
I don't know how to do novice. I don't know.
ah,
I don't want to do novice. I don't know how to novice. Because we had something that we were great at for 30 something years. And even if I tried other things, I was still always great at that. I was still had soccer where I can like grab a ball and beat anybody who came. I always had that. So when you take out that thing, I remember saying recently, I miss being great at something. I
oh,
miss it. And like, it doesn't
ooh,
mean that I can't become great at something
right.
else, but I miss just having that foundation of a badass. Like, it doesn't mean I'm a
Like
badass.
when you have that one win though, you feel that and it brings you that joy and it makes you that much more like, okay, I'm gonna do that again. I can do this shit.
Endorphins.
Yeah.
Endorphins and all the good feelings and just like that just shot of something. Like, it really is. And it's not so much like I want to use the word like you're almost addicted to it, but I don't use that word lightly. But it's just very much just like it's a powerful feeling to be good at something as a woman. For me as a black woman, it's powerful. And I think that in the world that we live in, we're still catching up as women. And it was a place where I felt like I got respect from men. I got respect from doctors. I got respect in places that people who look like me don't get. So I would be like, a doctor would be ignoring me, and I'd be like, my back hurts, my wrist hurts, whatever. And I go, well, I'm a professional soccer player, so I need my back. And boom,
Well then
boom,
let
all
me
of
help
a
you.
sudden, all of a sudden, well, if we just write this script, we can get you that MRI. Yeah, okay, Dr. Jerk. Like, but it was immediate. Just recently, I had to like stop someone. His hand was on the door as he was leaving. And I'm like, I'm a former professional soccer player, and I'm a mom, and I'm a widow. I need to be able to pick up my child. I'm the only one there. And I had to just lay out my life story for him to stop walking out of the room while we were talking.
Nobody should have to justify themselves
Mm-mm.
to be heard
Nope.
when it's something important. Like I can't. It makes me
I know.
so angry.
America.
I'm so sorry you had to
No,
go through that.
it's things that I've noticed that are becoming easier for me more as a mom. I've noticed that I've become a little bit more of an advocate as a mom. I'm becoming a little bit better at that. Something I struggled with a lot with my career was like if I had an injury, I wouldn't know how to get help because I didn't want to bug anyone. And that's deep rooted,
Yeah, I think that's a lot of women. And
Mhm.
I mean, as a black woman too, I could see how that would be even more like like I always have to say this to my husband because my husband is black as well. Like, and I'll say something as a woman or whatever, and then I'll always feel like I also need to qualify to go. And I understand like this is different from maybe your experience or something like that, but like it's the only way I can relate to it is as a woman, and to then like tack on that. Okay, there's this, I always think about this. There is this moment in an episode of Scrubs where Turk, do you watch Scrubs?
I love it. I love Tara. I love it.
When Elliot and Turk are arguing if it's harder to be a woman as a woman doctor or a black as a black doctor. And then like one of their colleagues walks by and it's a black woman doctor, and they were like, much respect, much love, love you. And I always think about that where you're like talking about like man being a woman, and my husband saying something about being a black man, and then like you just see this black woman and you're like, I love you
Yeah.
and I'm here for you. Like I understand you must go through so much shit. Like it's
Yes. I just had coffee right before with a friend of mine. She's a black woman, and she was talking about how she was in a class and she had to just hustle in the class. Like that's just who we are, right? She hustled, she did so well, da da da. She is overqualified for any job she applies for. And I said, "Yeah, and I just said this, but we have to be." And she was like, "We do." Like I can't be just qualified. Like, and like, I actually told my sister a while back, she was looking for a promotion. I said, go into the meeting as a mediocre white man. Go on. Go on, girl. I was like, ask for what you deserve, so maybe they'll trick her down. And she got everything she asked for. But I was like, you have the confidence of a mediocre white man, and you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. I mean, America, right? America. Well, I was actually also going to ask, like, what surprised you about that? Like, what truly made you like, I didn't expect those feelings transitioning out of that?
I didn't expect it to be easy. And it was easy. It wasn't that hard. And I feel like so many people, and this is honestly why I kind of went through with all of this, because to purchase a business, there's a lot of legality involved, a lot of litigious bullshit hoops that you have to go through, loans, and because there isn't any credit for the business under your name, you have to go through, like, maybe you can get a business loan, but you can't get an SBA loan. And like, so there's a lot of, and I feel like it can be really intimidating if somebody up front were to tell you, like, well, this is all the stuff that you're going to have to do to buy this business. And I think a lot of people try to scare you out of it almost. Yeah. And that's how I kind of felt whenever I would tell people that I wanted to do this. They were like, oh, well, you know, it's going to be a lot of hard work. And I'm like, oh, really? You don't say. Okay. And a lot of men would tell me this too, especially men who owned businesses. And that was also just kind of like, what makes you think you can do it, but I can't, you know? I don't know. I also felt like I was never taken very seriously with being a performer, and just being a little blonde girl, you know, like, I don't know. I mean, there was no reason for anybody to assume that of me. I made good grades. I'm responsible, but so after starting the process, did I know how to run a business? No, absolutely not. It doesn't matter. If you want to do something, just start it. And that's what I did. I just started. And then you run into these roadblocks, and you like have to figure out what the state commissioner does. Like, I didn't know what that was, you know? And like, after you do all of these things, you suddenly you're like, oh, well, that wasn't that hard. I don't know why people made it sound so hard. It wasn't. It was a huge transition, but it wasn't difficult as far as like logistics were concerned. Mm-hmm. It was so much more difficult emotionally, and just as far as like how I identified. But when you're in it, just like how we are when we're performing, you know,
just do it.
We just put our heads down and we do it. Yeah. And I think that as women, especially, it's like, oh, well, I'm just going to have to do this. I'm just going to do it. Well, it's fine. Yeah. Is it hard? Yeah, but it's like not impossible.
It's funny that you say it's not impossible, because I heard, oh my gosh, she's probably famous and I don't remember who it is, but she said everything in life is figure outable.
Uh-huh.
And I think that going by that, it's like, through sewing, through opening businesses, through shifting, all these things, I'm like, okay, it's figure outable. It might not be figure outable on my timetable, but it's figure outable, you know?
Yeah. Give yourself that grace to take your time to figure it out. And I mean, you if you have a whole bunch of irons in the fire, it's okay if it takes you a year to do it. It's just like, you got to file this, you got to do this, you got to trademark this if you don't want to get sued, you know? And like, not to say that there aren't so many resources out there and so many people in the community to reach out to figure out how to make it happen.
YouTube University, man.
Right? We have Google nowadays. You can do anything.
We have the Google is what my sister calls it. When I'm like, oh, do you know this? She goes, oh, can you just ask the Google, please? Like, every time. Yeah, I think they do the same thing with motherhood. I agree that like transitions are hard because emotionally you lose things, like emotional side. But like the baby is crying, so give her food, change the diaper, those types of things, of course. Yeah, right. All the books said it, you know. And also it's like with the information thing, especially with running a business, all these things, motherhood, I noticed that What was more overwhelming was over information. I was over inundated with information.
Yes.
And then it's
100.
conflicting information. Like, you should be an LLC or you should be a sole proprietor. Oh, this is better. This is better. Oh, you should definitely do the cry it out method. You should not do that. You should breastfeed till they're 10. You should never breastfeed again. Like,
Yes.
it's like, it's too much. And as like a millennial, I'm going to look it up. Like, I'm going to research my butt off.
Right.
You know? Because it's there.
And I hate using the phrase now, like, do your research, because it has such a negative connotation after what we just went through. However, if you are doing the correct research and you are listening to professionals and then deciding from those professionals what route you would like to take, like that's very different. But Derek and I talk about this shit all the time, about how you're told constantly, just wait. It gets hard. Oh, you're gonna have another one. You're gonna have 2 under 2. Oh my gosh, poor you. Just wait. And like having her, like, of course, being a mom is hard. You have to get up every 3 hours to feed him in the middle of the night. Does it suck? I mean, kind of, but at the same time, like, no, I signed up for this. I expected this. I knew what I was getting into because Google.
Because the Google and the YouTubes and every Instagram account that I followed in my first trimester.
Right. And yeah. I mean, especially now with TikTok. And I didn't get on TikTok until after I had her, or like maybe like right before I had her. Luckily, because now I can't imagine being on TikTok and being pregnant and getting all this information. Like, oh my God. And I have another friend who's having her first baby too right now. And she asked me the other day, like, did you swaddle? And like something as simple as, did you swaddle? I just had to be like, okay, listen, here's what I have learned. We bought every goddamn swaddle on the market. Some of them are not even approved by the AAP. Now I'm finding out is some of the zippers have like fucking lead in them. Like, like there's a whole bunch those are sleep sacks. Anyway, but like, I told her we had every intention to swaddle this baby. We swaddled her every night. She hated it. She squirmed and squirmed until her arms were up. And then we were like, oh, well, let's get the little starfish swaddle where her arms can be up. She hated that. So did we swaddle? We did for the first 3 weeks. Then we took her out of it. And then after that, she slept great because she wasn't swaddled. And then come to find out, many other countries don't swaddle. Like, it's not a practice. And so, there is so much information out there. And I told her, like, know what your options are and then don't be married to anything.
It's crazy because ironically, so not ironically, I had my baby in Sweden. First of all, $0. I'm going to repeat that because I don't think that.
Say it again.
$0 to have my child.
0.
I had a 4-night hospital stay, $0. When I came in originally, I was only 2 centimeters dilated, even though I felt like there was a truck trying to leave my vagina. But I was not dilated enough for them to admit me. So across the street was a hotel in which they have a partnership in which I paid $20 for.
That is amazing.
To stay until, obviously, I was ready. I only stayed there my husband got to stay with me in the hospital, and all he had to pay for was his meals, I think. 0.
Wow.
Okay. So that's one. And then they're like, you guys swaddling in Sweden, they think it's child abuse. Like, they just like are like, why would you tie your child up? And like, to me, we actually did it a few times because she was a person or a baby who liked to be, she was tiny. She kept her feet in for like her first month. Like, she still wanted to be inside my belly. Like, she was fresh. She was not ready to be born. She's like, I could have been in here for 3 more months. So she was that baby. She did like it, right? For a while. And then she was a monster if we tried again. So like that, but they were so against it. Another thing is circumcision. They think it's brutally horrible. This one surprised me. Getting their baby's ears pierced. They see it as the same level as circumcision in their brain. They're like, why would you ever do that to a baby who can't? And I get it, but it wasn't until someone explained certain things to me, because in America, like, yeah, you circumcise, like, it's like, now it's different. Now there's a lot more research and like the necessities, and you're gonna have this conversation with your hubby, and you're gonna have a boy.
Me already, that's another issue that has come up a lot, and have decided that we're not going to do it. We're not doing it. We're not doing it. Like, I mean, there more people are in North America are starting to be more critical of the practice, because there's very little evidence that it is medically beneficial. It is much more traumatic for a tiny little human that has just entered the world to experience. Many babies go into shock afterward. Like, it's really,
and the complications that could happen. It's just like,
no, I know. And I don't have a penis. I don't know how to take care of it when it's just normal. Why would I add like a surgery to it? Like right when I'm learning, like, I don't know.
yeah,
It's just, I can't do it. I can't do it. And it's like it's a topic of conversation that comes up every day, because being in North America, you wonder, am I making the right decision? Because when I hear one story where someone's like, well, this person had complications because they weren't, it makes you go, fuck, okay.
it's too many. It's too much.
Too much information.
Too much information, and
Yeah.
like, it's just, and it's terrifying to take it, not take it. And I was pregnant during COVID, so.
Me too.
Yep, exactly. And we just had, we had so much information. Get vaccinated, don't. You're going to hurt the baby. You're not going to hurt the baby. It was terrifying.
You know,
he didn't even come in the hospital with me at first. I had to go and get checked without him. And they would let him in if I was dilated enough or something, in which I immediately panicked. I'm in a foreign country. It was just so much. And I don't know.
yeah. I'm glad we're through that scary part. And we were even talking like having another baby now that COVID isn't as scary, we know what it is now. Not to say that COVID isn't serious, because of course it is. And we still need to protect whoever is, really susceptible.
Yeah.
But when we had her, we didn't go anywhere. Like, she didn't see people. Her grandparents wore masks forever.
Like this. Yeah.
Like, so, but to have another one and to almost have like a normal like infant part of our of their life and our lives is going to be so cool. We're even going to have a baby shower, because I didn't have a baby shower with my first one, and we don't need anything. We just want to party.
Yeah. exactly. But I just, yeah, it was a very crazy time to have a child. And I actually watched a documentary which helped me tremendously. That was a woman who had been born in a pandemic it was a long time ago. I'm not even going to pretend to remember which pandemic, but she said, all I remember was it was a lot of time with me and my mom. A lot of time with my family. And like, thankfully, that's what we could take from it, is I got special time with people I would have never had time to have time with.
Yeah.
And my daughter and I had a bond because, dude, it was just us. Like, it was just our family. That's it. And I think that changed a lot for me, because I was really angered by my experience for a long time. And I know that it also played a big role in a lot that happened to my husband, and just COVID did a lot to a lot of families outside of just the disease, like just the pandemic. There did a lot to people psychologically and everything.
Yeah.
A lot of relapses happened during COVID. A lot of families were broken up. A lot of people were like, I don't like you 24/7. Like, let's be honest, a lot of marriages were ruined. A lot of people were tremendously challenged, how they really thought about humanity, and how they wanted to take care of their neighbor, and what they were willing to do for someone they did not know. So a lot of things were challenged and everything like that.
And it wasn't even just like, I mean, COVID made us all sit with ourselves so much more. And when when George Floyd happened, and that was during COVID in 2020, like, everything happened in 2020, and it was an awakening for all of us to go like, okay, you have a captive audience right now, especially as a white person, like, sitting with that and learning, and like, and of course, like, being aware of it prior, but like not nearly as much as we all are now. And then realizing that you weren't the whole time, like, I don't know, it was a lot. It was a lot emotionally and mentally.
And we were pregnant.
And
on top of it, we were hormonal.
2020 just sucked. It was so.
To hear the rest of that and what comes after, please tune in next week for part 2 with Emily Butler. Thank you for listening, and go tell someone that they're awesome today. Bye.